Batman has dropped in theaters, and with it, we've gotten a bunch of great new cinematic Batman moments.
I'm vengeance.
So today I'm gonna give you my favorite moment from every Batman movie. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies and TV way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comment section. Share your favorite moment from every Batman movie that you've seen. One more thing before we get started, this video is brought to you by Magic Spoon. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably know I'm pretty into fitness and pay attention to what I eat. I'm always looking for high protein options that have zero sugar. Magic Spoon is exactly what I've been looking for. Magic Spoon is a great tasting alternative to sugar-filled cereals. It has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. There's only 140 calories per serving, and they're also keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. And it's not just me that's been enjoying Magic Spoon, it's been the entire family. What's your favorite flavor?
Cocoa.
What do you want?
Blueberry.
You want to eat the blueberry?
Yes. Yummy from the jelly.
As a parent, it's great to have found something that the kids enjoy that has 0 sugar. Also, when I'm watching a movie, I'll pour a cup where I'll mix peanut butter, cocoa, and blueberry and just kind of eat it as a snack. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed by a 100% happiness guarantee. If you don't like the product for any reason, they will refund your money, no questions asked. So click the link down below and use code SeanTalks for $5 off any order, or go to magicspoon.com/SeanTalks to save $5 today. And let's get started. First up, Batman 66. As the opening credits say, this movie exists just to be fun escapism, and that's what it is. If you like campy superhero stories, especially if you grew up watching the Batman 66 TV show, there's a lot of fun to be had here. When my family watches it together, we love all of the insanely stupid riddles that make absolutely no sense.
What weighs 6 ounces, sits in a tree, and is very dangerous?
A sparrow with a machine gun.
But they play them dead serious. We always get a laugh out of that. But the best moment from this movie, I'm gonna go with the part where Batman has a bomb and he can't get rid of it. Everywhere he goes, there's a person, there's people making out, there's some ducks, and everywhere he goes, there's this marching band playing this one song, following him around, all leading up to him saying, some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
It's always so much fun. It's so silly, and it fits perfectly into this version of the character. Next up, Batman 89. Now, this was the Batman movie of my childhood, one of the very first movies that I remember seeing in the theater. I have so much nostalgia for this entire film, as well as even the ads on the VHS tape from when I was growing up.
Yes, we seem to be down to our last Diet Coke. A gentleman is on his way to pick some up.
And it's filled with iconic imagery and performances. But what's my favorite moment from the film? I think I'm gonna go with the museum rescue and alley fight sequence where he rescues Vicky Vale from the Joker at the museum. All of it is filled with a bunch of the most iconic elements of this film. You get Batman gadgets, including Joker saying, where does he get those wonderful toys? You get the best showcase of the Batmobile in this movie, including the shield sequence. And then they go into an alley and you get Batman actually fighting off a group of thugs, some of them doing flips and swinging knives around. You get to see his body armor, Vicky Vale trying to be the reporter in the midst of all of it. It's the stuff that's really good about this movie. Even has a bunch of iconic shots. The one that's on the back of the VHS tape where he's shooting the grappling gun, right out of this sequence. So it's my favorite moment of this movie. That'll bring us to Batman Returns, Tim Burton's exploration of 3 lonely weirdos and how each of them tries to connect with a world that rejects them. The standout here for me was Catwoman, and in particular, the best moment I think is the sequence where Selina Kyle snaps. Max Schreck has just killed her, cats have brought her back to life, she goes back to her apartment, clearly in zombie mode, and she's just repeating her usual habits, where she just does certain things, says certain lines, makes the same joke to herself, pushes play on her voicemail, and as it's happening, her reality just sinks in and she absolutely snaps. course, Michelle Pfeiffer gives this incredible performance, and when it's like tied together by Danny Elfman's phenomenal score, it's emotional, and you see the birth of Catwoman as this deeply insecure woman finds confidence by turning into this villainous Catwoman, and it just stands out in your memory. It's iconic, and of course, the score and Michelle Pfeiffer absolutely killed it. Next up, Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Now, I've said it many times before, Batman the Animated Series is my favorite animated show of all time, and I love origin stories, and Batman Mask of the Phantasm has a lot of Batman's origin in it. My favorite Batman graphic novel is Batman Year One. There's a lot of Batman Year One influences in the flashbacks in this story. So just in general, I love all of those aspects of this film, and they culminate in my favorite moment of the movie, where Bruce Wayne has been rejected by the love that was tempting him away from his calling. She leaves him, abandons him, rejects his proposal, and it just gives him absolute clarity on what he needs to do, who he needs to become. He returns to the Batcave, and you just get this iconic shot of him donning the cowl for the first time. And Alfred sees it and just like recoils back in shock at this image of this Batman come to life. And the visualization of this mission that Bruce has been on for all of these years, finally Alfred sees what it looks like. And it is that reaction from Alfred that sells the moment. It's iconic. It's such a pivotal moment. And as someone that loves origin stories, it hits all the right notes for me. Moving right along, we have Batman Forever. And obviously my favorite thing about this movie was nipples on the Batsuit. Here I am. Okay, that's probably not my favorite thing about the movie. It is a lot of fun to see Drew Barrymore in a very small part in a Batman movie. And another great thing about this movie is that it features the Seal song Kiss from a Rose. I've been kissed by a rose on the grave. But none of those are actually a moment in the movie, really. I don't really know what to go with for this one, because it's a movie that just doesn't have a lot of things about it that just stand out and are awesome to me. So I'll probably generically say I think this is the Batman movie from this era that has the best fights to it. Whether you're talking about Batman against the thugs during the bank robbery or Dick Grayson in the alley fight, the fights are much better in this movie than in the Burton films, certainly better than the ice capades that you get in Batman and Robin. So there's some cool action in this live action cartoon. Next up, Batman and Robin, and easily my favorite moment of this film is when the credits started to roll. Okay, this is another movie where it's tough to pick a favorite moment because I think the whole thing is ill-conceived. And so the best moments, honestly, are when it gets so bad it loops back around and becomes good. It's all the stuff that we make fun of constantly. They're not good moments. They are absolutely terrible moments. They're bad ideas, but they're really fun to see such a bad idea on screen, to see the train wreck happen with $150, $200 million budget. So whether you're talking about bad credit cards,
$7 million.
Or overacting, I suppose those are my favorite moments simply because there aren't actually good moments in this film that I like. In a totally different direction, we have Batman Begins. And as I said earlier in this video, I absolutely love origin stories. So just in general, the whole first 90 minutes of this film is exactly my kind of thing. Batman's one of my favorite superheroes, Christopher Nolan's one of my favorite directors, and I love origin stories, and that's what the first 90 minutes of this is, just seeing Bruce Wayne become Batman. I love those sorts of stories, therefore I just love the first 90 minutes of this film, but that's not a moment, that's a thing that I love. When it comes to a favorite moment, I think I'm gonna go with the moment in the finale where Bruce reveals to Rachel who he is by quoting back to her the line that she said to him earlier.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
Bruce?
It just kind of has that emotional crescendo of there's not a lot of individual people that Bruce Wayne deeply cares what they think about him. She's one of them. And in this moment where he's truly become the hero, he wants her to know he actually is doing everything he can to save this city. As strange as it is dressing up as a bat, he needs her to know. And I think always in that moment, there's a nice emotional punch to it. And then we have The Dark Knight, possibly the most praised comic book movie of all time. And that's simply because the movie is well crafted from beginning to end. It has many, many, many great elements to it. But what's my personal favorite moment? An honorable mention will go to the Joker's magic trick, where you're watching the movie and you see him pull out a pencil and he says, "Want to see a magic trick?" And you're not sure exactly where this is going, and then he uses it to kill a thug and causes the pencil to disappear.
I'm gonna make this pencil disappear.
And in doing so, it's a really dark joke, but it also establishes who this Joker is. He's not gonna have chattering teeth, he's not gonna have joy buzzers and flags popping out of guns, but it doesn't mean that he's not gonna have his own dark way of making jokes and making the audience laugh through his sick, twisted brain. But what's my favorite moment from the film? I think I'm gonna go with the Dark Knight monologue in the final moments of the film. It just does such a great job of establishing all of these ideas about what Batman is trying to do, explores all these themes, and they crescendo through plot points, music, and voiceover all in a single moment.
Because he's the hero Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs right now.
So as you get to the final seconds of the film, you just feel so amped up because it did its job throughout the course of the film and ties it all together with a perfect bow in the final moments, and it just leaves you with such an emotional high. That will bring us to The Dark Knight Rises, Christopher Nolan's epic finale to his Dark Knight trilogy. And while I find this to be the weakest of the films, the highs are just as the highs in the other two movies. As an honorable mention, I think much like The Dark Knight, the epilogue of this film has a really nice emotional crescendo to it with everything that has transpired throughout the course of the entire trilogy. In particular, when you just see Michael Caine as Alfred losing it over failing Bruce Wayne.
I'm so sorry. I failed you.
Pulls out big, gigantic emotions. And so I think it has a nice epilogue to it that's emotionally satisfying for the journey that we've been on. But my personal favorite moment, and maybe this says something about my biases and the types of moments that I just love in movies like this, is when, once again, Bruce Wayne reveals to Commissioner Gordon that he is, in fact, Batman, or that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And through it's a simple line of dialogue, once again, not overtly stating it, but saying something that only that person could interpret properly. So he recalls back to him,
A hero can be anyone, even a man doing something as simple and reassuring as putting a coat around a young boy's shoulders to let him know the world hadn't ended.
as simple as that is, it signifies so much and tells you so much about Bruce Wayne and how that moment locked in his mind. This is one of the good ones. Whatever I'm going to do, he's one of the good ones. And it's so much, like, it adds, recontextualizes everything that happened in the trilogy of films. And I love moments that can do that with just a single line of dialogue. And so I don't know if anyone else loves that moment the way that I do. Every time I watch it, that is so profound and powerful to me, the way that a simple gesture can mean so much to someone. And a line of dialogue can communicate so much. That'll catch us up to the Snyderverse, and we've made it to Batman v Superman, a highly polarizing film, but a movie that I think has a bunch of really good elements inside of it. I totally get why a lot of people don't like plot elements, totally get it, but the standout moments, I think, are really, really good. The titular fight, Batman v Superman, with Batman in the classic Dark Knight Returns armored suit. I mean, it is just as iconic of a battle as you can have between superheroes. Batman versus Superman, and you get a bunch of cool shots, a bunch of cool action in it. But what's my pick for the best moment in this movie? I think you gotta go with the warehouse fight. That everyone, including the people that hate this movie, single out that sequence as an awesome Batman sequence. As the Batman fight scene we have all wanted to see forever, and even now that we've gotten the Batman, everyone still says, I mean, when it comes to best fight, you look at that sequence right there, where you just see this agile, brutal Batman that is smart, he's using gadgets, and he's just overpowering all of these dudes. It is a great fight sequence, it's a great Batman moment, and it shows this Batman, this Bruce Wayne, returning to being a hero. He had been in like vengeance mode, I gotta get Superman, and then as soon as he snaps out of it, realizes their mothers have the same name, he swears she will not be harmed and goes into vicious mode, takes out a room full of guys to save her. And you even get a little joke at the end of it.
I'm a friend of your son's.
I figured. The cape.
That'll bring us to a very different Batman movie, the Lego Batman movie. It's a little bit tricky to pick your favorite moment on this film because it's such a departure for every other film on this list. My favorite joke in the movie is where Batman first meets Dick Grayson and he's talking to him and he's like, my name's Richard, but everybody calls me Dick. And he's like, oh, kids can be so cruel. That always gets a big laugh out of me every single time. I'm actually pretty juvenile. My favorite moment, I think, is early on in the film where Batman, after saving the day, playing the rock star, singing his song and everything, goes back to Wayne Manor and he's just all alone with riches, this gigantic place, eating exotic foods, and he's all by himself. And then it has him walk up and he's just looking at pictures of his family intensely until Alfred walks up and he jump kicks it.
There you are.
And so you get the joke at the end of it, but for the most part, it's establishing this is a movie that is really exploring an aspect of this Bruce Wayne that understands the certain loneliness, it establishes the themes and everything like that. And so for a movie that's known for its hyperactive energy, the quietest moment of the film might be my favorite. That'll bring us to Josstice League 2017. My favorite moment related to this movie was in May 2020 when they announced the Snyder Cut. Okay, if I have to give Joss Whedon some level of credit on this one, I'll go with the sequence where Aquaman sat on the lasso of truth and sort of just bearing his soul. Doesn't it all fit with Zack Snyder's vision for the film or what he had shot? It's not the right type of humor at all. But does it make me laugh? Yes, it does. And I think it reveals that if they hadn't done this ridiculous idea of replacing Zack Snyder with Joss Whedon and instead had just made a Joss Whedon film, you can see how it would have had that Avengers humor to it, but at least it would have been consistent in and of itself. And so that sequence, I guess, gets a laugh out of me. It's mildly clever. That'll bring us to Zack Snyder's Justice League. And this is another tricky one because I love this movie. I love so many things about this film. I'll list off several different ones and try and pick my favorite one by the time I finish rambling. First off, I love the fact that you have this version of Batman that was changed by Batman v Superman, that has regained his faith.
Faith, Alfred. Faith.
But hasn't lost his cockiness.
I don't care how many demons he's fought and how many hells. He's never fought us. Not us united.
And then, of course, you got to talk about in the finale where they fail, the world explodes, and the Flash literally turns back time by running into an explosion. It is so epic. And by contrast, Joss Whedon thought, hey, what if instead of that, what if he pushed a car so that he could be at the butt of a joke with Superman? Like shockingly bad decision making over there, but him saving it through running back through time, amazing, amazing stuff. What's my favorite moment? Man, I think I'm gonna go with the Superman reveal.
I know we're all thinking the same thing right now.
Of just where everything in the film is building towards this moment of how are we gonna stop Steppenwolf? And it all comes together as they realize they can bring back Superman. They can undo the mistake that was made in the previous film. And finally, we have the Batman. I've said it many times before, but just in general, this is the Batman movie I've been waiting for 20 years, that it focuses in on him as the world's greatest detective. But we gotta pick a moment. So the moment I'm gonna go with is gonna be the early monologue, the I Am Vengeance sequence, where it starts off with kind of this montage of the city of what he's been up to the last 2 years. What does the signal mean to people? All of it leading up to that symbol of vengeance showing up as this gang is about to knock this guy out, and a guy walks up to him with a pipe.
The hell are you supposed to be?
And then this Batman just destroys him.
I'm vengeance.
And then he beats up all the rest of them. And then the victim in the situation says, "Don't hurt me, don't hurt me." He's afraid of Batman. And it says so much about who this Batman is, his reputation in the city. I loved that little bit of establishing where he's at with the voiceover, with the notebooks and everything. Such a great way to kick off this movie. The whole movie has a bunch of great moments to it, but I just found that to be so iconic and just makes such a mark as soon as you see it. That is my favorite moment from the Batman. If you enjoyed this video and want more like it, you can check out my other Batman rankings right there. You can check out my Batman reviews right down there. And if you're wanting some great tasting cereal that's high protein and 0 sugar, you can get Magic Spoon at the link down below in the description to save $5 off your order. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies too much.